right.
Hey man, stop living in the past.
Well,
You're right.
last week, our intrepid adventurers made their way from the old bone grinder after defeating 3 night hags. Well, 2 of 3 night hags. One of them escaped into the ether and promised her revenge. I think it was Morgantha, the mother, actually.
Let me fix my note. You're right.
And you guys set the windmill on fire, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys, you guys set the windmill on fire, and in doing so, when Hemdriel set the structure ablaze, it went up in a divine flaming white light, and then it began to the vileness of the old bone grinder began to mix with a dark evil black smoke, and when they two forces of these good and evil fire and darkness of the good fire of Hemdriel's flame and the old evil structure of the windmill came together, the dome of the windmill erupted in a billowing cloud of black smoke, and just for a brief moment you guys thought that you could almost see the face of Strahd within the dark cloud of smoke emanating up from the white flames of Hemdriel's fire. You guys saddled up. You guys saddled up the horse with the kids, and you made your way on your last leg of travel towards Vallaki, where on the roads you were ambushed by a pack of dire wolves, but you were able to quickly dispatch them, and then you found yourself at the gates of Vallaki, where the mist was very heavily pressing in upon the high 12-foot tall spiked wooden walls of the town. But on the inside of the town beyond the gates, it did seem like it was a much more lively place. There were people walking around in the streets and light coming out from the many of the buildings. A much different looking place from the outside looking in than Barovia was, where you first entered Strahd's realm. A couple of the guards guarding the gates, the east gates of Vallaki, recognized Veen, and you guys were able to talk your way into town. And I think they asked for your wolf heads as the price.
Bastard.
And but they let you in. Everyone except Rimpak, that is, who the burgomaster of Vallaki, Baron Vargas Valakovich. I'm going to butcher everyone's name today. Vargas Valakovich is the burgomaster of Vallaki, and he has decreed that Rimpak not be allowed back into Vallaki, spouting off his nonsense about this god called Tyr. Everyone must declare that all will be well in Vallaki, as not to anger the devil Strahd, and all must also pray to the Morning Lord and bask in his glory and favor. So you guys made your way into town where Veen veered off to do a little secret shopping, and Nuru and Hemdriel made your way to the Bluewater Inn, where you came upon the Mardakov family. You met Erwin, Danica Mardakov, and their 2 boys, whose names are, I think, escaping me currently. But
Ted and Ed.
No, they have names. Oh, there we go. Brom and Bray, so it's pretty close. Yeah, Brom and Bray are their 2 sons. And
their mum knows them as Ted and Ed.
You know what?
There were a few other patrons in the Bluewater Inn. I'm trying to get used to using both my screens, and what I hate is, because I want to have everything on my screen that's not the screen that's, like, streaming, you know, but then when I try and show handouts and stuff, it only pops out over on the other side, so it's like, ah, damn.
Get one of those ultra wides. So usually I don't know. I hate ultra wides.
Well, I don't think I would like that very much. My new monitor's like way bigger, but I was trying to pop up the Mardakov family.
Oh yeah, I remember that handle you threw up. Yeah.
So they're kind of dressed in these purples and aquamarines, and they look very kind of
Palish.
regal, and um, Danica has a few black feathers done up in her hair. Even
How
the
old are the children about?
they look like they're probably about 7 and 8 years old or so, maybe a little bit older.
I like Danica. Danica's a good name. Aaron Rodgers is dating Danica of Kipractors. That's a good name.
um, and the last thing I think that Danica said before Nuru was about to ask Danica a question was, and she was inquiring uh, after the after Rimpak, because the Mardikovs were the ones that had sent Rimpak with their horse off to meet you guys. And that's kind of where we left off last week. So, Naru, you're face to face there with Danica at the bar of the inn. Kind of surrounding you. There's a few common folk. There looks like there's a pair of brothers sitting with two Vlaki um, women off on one side of the bar. Uh, the two men seem to be cracking jokes, and the women are kind of giggling and laughing as you enter. And then there are two much more burly, rough and tumble looking men on the other side of the bar, um, wearing heavy wolf furs, and they're kind of glaring at the other two men across the other side of the bar with who are laughing and enjoying themselves with the women. You can see over at the table of four there are a couple of bottles of wine, and they seem to be pretty inebriated right off the bat. And then there are just a few other common folk milling about in the inn as you and Hemdriel enter.
Yeah, Nuru's not really going to pay attention to those too much. He's more focused on Danica right now because he came there for a reason. So she just asked about Rimpak, and so he's going to answer Rimpak, he was forbidden from entering the city due to his religious beliefs.
Danica says, I was hoping that the rumor was not true, but that's okay. We'll find a way to get him into the city. It's not a problem.
And your gelding, Lilac, we brought him back to us.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. I'm glad to see that you have all made it to Vallaki safely. It's no secret, but we could see the windmill go up in flames. The whole town is talking about it. The windmill's been up there on the ledge for some time. And as you guys made your way into Vallaki, you could turn down from walking into the gates and turn down and look up over the forest to the ledge where the old bone grinder sat, and it was still burning and smoldering, and clouds of black smoke were still billowing into the air as you guys made your way into Vallaki. So Danica says everyone is talking about the old bone grinder finally meeting what is probably a just end. There has always been talk of terrible things going on there, so I'm glad to see it burning down.
These talks of terrible things were not untrue. This is actually another reason as to why these 3 children were captured in the bone grinder.
Danica looks down at the children. She says, "Well, that is terrible. I guess it's good that Rimpak found you when he did. I hope that he was of a help to you. He seems like a nice enough man." And she looks down at the children and she says, "I'm so glad that you're safe, children. If you would like, you may go upstairs and play with our sons. Perhaps let the adults talk. If that's okay with you." And she looks at you, Nuru.
He nods.
Don't worry, Bram and Bray, my boys. They're very nice. They will take good care of you. They have plenty of toys. What's her name? Myrtle. Myrtle looks up at Danica and says, "That's very kind of you. I always like making new friends. Do they have any books?" And Danica says, They have books as well. And what's the other kid's name? Not Freak, but
Freak
the
or a Nile.
Niles. Yeah.
Nile.
Niles is a good boy.
Danica looks over at Niles and says, "You'll have to leave that here." And she points at the mace. That's not the kind of toy that I'd let my boys play with. And she kind of looks up at you, Nuru. But she says, "Don't
He
worry.
says Rimpak.
Don't worry. I'll keep it safe for you, and you can have it back." Niles kind of shifts on his feet, looks down at the mace in his hand, and Myrtle says, "Come on, be nice. We are their guests." And Niles, like, his shoulders slump and he sighs and he sets the mace up on the counter of the bar. He says, "Okay." And Myrtle still holding Freak's hand, and she says, "Come on, Freak. Let's go and play. I'll read to you." And Freak says, "Freak." And they all go upstairs and meet Brahmin Bray.
Good.
You can hear all their little footsteps run along the, there's kind of a banister that lines the second level of the bar, and you can see kind of rooms lining up above your heads, and you see the kids run up the side set of stairs, and they all run along the length of the bar, and then they go off into one of the side rooms altogether. Danica says, "Just leave the door open so we can hear you." And all the kids leave you to talk about adult things. I would say that Veen, at this point, you probably would have got most of your stuff done and would have been able to make your way through the streets to the Bluewater, unless there was anything else you would have done.
No.
Let me see if anything happens to you on the way. No, you're good. And so you swing through the front doors. You walk past a little well on the outside of the courtyard of the Bluewater Inn. You can see there's, on the outer portion of the Bluewater Inn, there's another balcony as well that kind of wraps around the front two corners of the inn. There's an outside set of stairs that leads up to some more rooms that look like they're probably on the outside of the bar as well. It's actually kind of a big overhang that extends all the way out and kind of around over the front portion of the inn and off to one side. And so actually the well and a good portion of the front part of the inn is like actually under cover of like a raised balcony. So there are kind of these thick wooden beams that hold it all up and stuff.
Okay, so I'd be arriving, yeah.
Yeah, you just walk in the front doors. You kind of survey the scene. You see Nuru talking to Danica and Hemdriel standing there, just the front entrance of the bar. I guess. Yeah.
I'll sit in the back and let them continue their talking.
You guys had rested in the windmill before you left in like the morning.
Nope.
And oh, you didn't. Oh,
We had like a
Short
half
rest.
rest, I thought, right? Yeah, short rest.
short rest,
that's it.
yeah. So, I'm trying to remember what time of day it was, but I think it was like somewhere around,
It'd be
like
getting
the
close
after,
towards evening.
like afternoon, evening. So it was like evening when you reached Vallaki, kind of.
Yes, that's about right.
Sounds good.
When Veen comes in, Nice Nose going to like try to determine why he disappeared all of a sudden. What check would that be? Like to read clues off him?
It'd be insight.
it-
Actually,
it-
just roll perception. Roll perception.
Yeah, roll a perception check.
Just
Would probably be more appropriate.
Yeah, you see a large canvas on his back. That's about it.
Okay.
Looks like he bought something. And you, if I remember correctly, you bought a tent and a couple of smaller objects as well, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's a secret.
It's not that secret.
I may have said it when I was drunk last week. Towards the end of the session, I was kind of drunk.
Yeah, you did.
So, Nuru, I'm guessing, when Nuru noticed him walking in, he does have a passive perception of 16.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's easy to hear when somebody walks in
wasn't
the front
stealthing.
doors. Yeah,
I just
so
don't want to interrupt your
you
conversation.
hear the door open and you know, as
Like,
you do,
Nuru would have, like glanced back for a
Yeah,
second,
you know,
and then...
the door kind of creaks open. You can hear like the wood of the door slide across the wood of the floor of the bar, and as it opens, you can kind of hear the rain and the sound of the town milling about outside, and then you know Veen closes it behind him, and yeah, it's not hard to tell that he's entered.
Quick question: if you roll a percentile die on an actual dice and you get 00 and a 0, is that 0 or 100?
It's 100.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, cool.
Because it's technically a 10 and a 00, because one's meant to be the 1 through 10 and one's meant to be 0 through 9.
Well, you have a 10 and a 0 as well, though.
I think the double zeros are the 0 at the end, and if the other one is the 1, wait.
I think it's a 10 because when you roll a percentile dice, you roll the dice that's by the tens, right? And then you also roll a d10, don't you?
Well, yeah. Well, what if you get 10 and a 0? What is that then?
10 and a 0
That's 100.
is 100, yeah.
So then, what if you get 00 and a 0?
That's a 0.
That's a 0. Okay. By the way, I just want to make sure because I roll when I make decisions
that has
in the
a
game,
10
I roll
on it?
real dice.
Does
Yeah.
the
Well,
die-
yeah.
Does the die that has a 10 also have a 0?
Yes.
Because
A double
alright,
0
that's weird.
with a 10. This is my percentile die.
Then what number is it missing? Is it not a d10?
Well, no, it has as a 10. Zero
I don't.
through.
How can you get a 0 on the d10? You can't, right?
It's either only going to have one of those numbers, or it's going to be.
Well, this
missing
is
like a 1
this is
or
a
something.
D10. This is a 1 through 10. This is a D10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my percentile die. Has single digits 0 through 10,
Right.
and then double digits.
So you can't roll a 0, 0, 0.
I can roll a 0 and a double 0. Sorry, this has a 0
Alright,
through
look
9.
on the die.
Yeah.
The
It's
one
0
that has a 10 does it also have a 1?
It has a 10 instead of a 1.
Okay.
Right, so the 10 is a 1.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that would
Just
make
wanna make
it
sure-
10.
I
that would
haven't
be
rolled
like
a double 0 before, and
10.
when I make decisions in game, I like to roll for certain decisions for myself before I
Yes.
do positive negative type stuff. Because I meta game over here, by the way.
You guys just broke my brain.
Percentage die.
So Naru's going to say to Denica that these
That's hard.
that the children can't go back to their homes. They can't go back to their families, and we were hoping that you might be able to provide some sort of care for them.
At this point in time, when you say that, back from the kitchens, you see a big burly man come out with a magnificent beard and a large round belly. He's got these big rosy cheeks,
Santa Claus.
and he says, he comes out and he says, "I thought I heard the voice of newcomers. Welcome to the Bluewater. And welcome to Wallachia. I'm happy to see that you've met my wife. I could not have helped but overhear your conversation from the other room." He nods at Danica, and she says, "We will be able to find a place for them here. We would not dare allow them to go back to Barovia.
Thank you.
For a long time, we've heard rumors of children disappearing from Barovia, but nobody's ever been able to prove that that was the case.
They were sold. They weren't.
Well, they will be taken good care of in Wallachia."
Naru's going to insight this.
Okay.
Get my sheet up.
As far as you can tell, they seem like very honest people.
Alright. He's going to nod and say, thank you. And he's going to look to Ismark and Irina and ask them if they have any business they would like to discuss.
Yes. Ismark walks up beside you, and he holds out his hand to Erwin, and he says, "Hello, my name is Ismark Indirovich. This is my sister, Irina Koliana. My father was the burgomaster of Barovia. Until a few days ago, he died. After my father died, Strahd's attacks on my home became relentless. He seemed to have an unhealthy obsession with my sister, and so we have come here to Vallaki to seek refuge. I would not want my sister to fall into Strahd's hands, and Vallaki is the safest place that I could think of for her to be. I am hoping that you might know of a good place where we can stay. We don't have much wealth, but I'm willing to work. And my sister is also good at sewing, and she's always been handy at even repairing damages in our home. She's always been very crafty as well. If you would allow us, at least for a time, perhaps room and board, we could work for you until we are able to establish ourselves here in Vallaki. Erwin says, well, you have brought your sister here. I would say that at least is the right decision. If Strahd had an unhealthy obsession for me, I would get as far away from him as I could myself. But your father, you say, was the burgomaster of Barovia. You don't intend to return and help the people there? You're going to abandon your home? Ismark head kind of drops down. He says, Barovia has been lost for a long time. My father always did his best to make sure that the people were safe, but nobody is safe under the shadow of Strahd. Perhaps you might think me not an honorable man, but I have no wish to return to Barovia. I must protect my sister. She is the only family that I have left. And Erwin and Danica look at each other, and Danica says, well, here family is the most important thing. We understand, and I'm sure that we can find something for you guys to do until you're able to find your way here in Vallaki. We have a spare room. You might have to share, but we are happy to have you, Ismark, Irina. We look forward to getting to know you better. And Erwin says, he looks at Ismark dead in the eyes, and he says, and perhaps we can talk about a way to help the rest of the people you left behind in Barovia. And Ismark shakes his head and he says, I thank you. I promise that we will work hard and we will prove ourselves to be worthy guests. And Danica looks up at you, Nuru, and she says, will the rest of you be looking to stay here as well while you're in Vallaki?
Yeah, I'm not sure for how long, but probably yes.
Oh, we have space for all of you.
Yeah, we would need. Hopefully Rimpak will be rejoining.
Rimpak, let me see if anything happens to you while you're making your way to the Bluewater Inn. No, you're good. So you make your way from the west side of town towards the center of town.
As I'm going, would it be possible to see if there's any tailors or clothing shops? I would like to. The idea is I want to buy a cloak or a shroud with a hood, so I can put it over my armor because I have the big symbol of Tyr emblazoned, and I'm thinking since I'm not allowed in town, I should have a hood I can pull up over my head, over my helmet, look a little more incognito.
Yeah, you start making your way through the streets of Vallaki. You don't notice any, people pass by you from time to time. Many of them, look very simply dressed, very common-looking people. Nobody that would ever stand out in a crowd. Some of them appear much like Freak, almost moving about with almost seemingly like they're on some sort of loop or something. They don't even seem to recognize a presence of you passing by. You accidentally bump into one of these people, and they just keep on walking past like you never even touched them. But other people are, you see men and women who do have sturdy-looking work boots or clothes. You see people with health and muscularity to them who seem like hardworking people. Many of them, all of their clothing is very outdated, I would say, I guess. It almost even like moth-eaten to a point, and um, everybody's very drab. But there are the occasional person that you pass by that has a blotch of color, a colorful ribbon or in their hair, or a like a pendant or something on their breast.
Rimpak knows his individuality, and it fills him with hope for the city of Vallaki, or the village or town of Vallaki.
And then you see coming through the thin mists that kind of weave and waft through the streets of Vallaki. Coming around a corner, you see a group of about 4 city guards, and you kind of step back off into an alley, and you watch them pass between like the main thoroughfare of the street heading toward the Bluewater, and they just seem like they're casually patrolling the streets of the city. One of them, as he's moving past people, he's like waving at them and saying, "All will be well. All will be well." And one thing you do notice as you are kind of making your way through the streets, there are strange remnants of, you see kind of behind you in the alleyway, there's like a couple of discarded paper mache wolf heads that are like dissolving in the rain and the wetness, and you see different flyers for like hammered into the walls of buildings here and there, like proclaiming all will be well and saying things about different kinds of festivals and stuff like that. And then eventually you do make your way. You do come across a tailor. An old woman, with a tuft of gray hair, and you walk by, you can see, there's like a wooden sign hanging out in front of the door that's like a spool of thread with a needle crossing through it, and she's got this colorful, intricately woven, like argyle patterned shawl draped tightly up around her neck that she kind of is pulling up around her as she closes up her shop, and it looks like she's closing up for the night, like many of the businesses in town do.
I'm gonna come up. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
She kind of looks like she's startled, and she turns towards you and she says, "Oh, I didn't see you there. What? Yes. What? How can I help you, sir?"
Could I take a moment and could you stay open for just a moment longer?
Oh, I suppose. What is it that what do you need?
Could we step inside the shop? I would feel more comfortable seeing your wares. I'll produce a gold piece, and I'll hold it out to her so she knows I'm all about business.
I'm supposed to get dinner started for my husband soon.
I'll be just a moment, I promise, ma'am.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, come on, persuasion check. I need you.
She sees the gold coin. I say you can make it with advantage.
Hey.
She says, well, very well. I guess I can spare a few more moments.
Excellent.
She pushes up, open the door of her shop. You can see there are kind of these old busts. There's a little countertop as you come in, and she shuffles over to the front counter, and there's a little kind of oil lamp sitting there on the counter, and she picks up a little wooden box and slides it open and pulls out a match and strikes it, and she tips the head of the match into the oil lantern, and the lantern kind of illuminates the small space of this little shop, and you can see behind, there are bolts of bolts and neatly folded stacks of cloth behind the counter, and there are a few kind of busts lining one side of her little shop here, and one of them's got kind of like a very formal looking gown hanging off of it, and then the one beside it has one. They look like they're male and female, but they're kind of matching. They're these very royal deep red color embroidered with strands of gold all throughout them, and they both look like they're almost done, like they're just there getting some finishing touches done. And on the breast of each of them, there's a big golden sun that's been embroidered across the front of each of their chests. And she says, well, what is it that you need?
So, ma'am, I appreciate you very much for having a word with me. And I'll put the gold that I shoulder right on the counter as if I'm going to leave it there just for a time. I'm like, ma'am, I have an odd request. I'll kind of show my armor. Like, I need a large piece of cloth with a hood that I can pull over my head with my helmet on and cover my armor. I mean, all I need is a large strip of cloth, a hole in it, a hood on top. If you can make that happen, ma'am, I'll make it worth your while.
She says, boy, do I look like some sort of spring chicken? That's one of the most simple requests I've heard in some time. And she shuffles over, and she starts moving some different cloaks and stuff around, and she says, what you're looking for is a cowl. Here, I think I have one in just your size. And she brings out this kind of forest green bit of cloth, and she kind of unfolds it in front of you on the countertop, and it's like kind of it looks like what the top half of
like a poncho with a hood, right?
Right, essentially, yeah. It drapes down over the shoulders, and it comes down to about your midsection, so it covers the whole front and back part of your armor, and then it's already made up with a hood. It's all one piece of cloth that's all been sewn together, yeah, and the hood can just come up over, and she says, I've been tailoring here in Vallaki for most of my life. I don't know what you think this is, but I can make anything.
Like, ma'am, this is perfect. Exactly what I'm looking for. I look over at the gowns and I say, you're incredibly skilled. Even your cowls are meticulous. Your stitching is amazing. What does this cost? What do I owe you?
Well, I'm married, so your flattery is useless to me, but that coin that you've already put down is quite enough. That's fine.
I'm going to take 2 more coins out of my pocket. I put it on the top and I go, ma'am, you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
She says, make sure if you come back here, you see me during normal business hours.
I apologize for the inconvenience. And I'll put another coin down.
Okay, cool. She blows out the lantern and kind of shuffles you out the door and locks up her shop and huffs off into the streets to go make her husband dinner.
Feeling very confident now that I'm covered up. But I also feel very guilty. I'm conflicted. You know, I'm a little bit like, Peter when I denied Jesus. I feel like, covering up my stuff. I'm like, but for the greater good, I've convinced myself to be able to move freely throughout Vallaki will help better Tyr's mission here and save the souls of the lost.
For sure. Why don't you go ahead and take an inspiration? If you don't have one.
I think I spent my last one. Yeah, right. Thank you.
But then you confidently make your way through the rest of the streets of Vallaki. You pass right by. You weren't really expecting it. You're getting pretty close to the inn, and then from kind of kitty corner as you're approaching the building, another pair of 2 guards just pops out of nowhere, and they walk right past you, and they don't even seem to notice.
Perfect.
#rogue signs.
And then you come around. You would know that the west side of the Bluewater Inn is the stables, and you make your way around to the front, and you see that Lilac is still tied up out there.
Good. I know that everybody's inside. Yeah. That Lilac's here, and everybody made it safe.
And then the door creaks, and you make your way in, and you see your companions.
Nice Snow looks over and sees the face and sees the cowl and such, and she goes, "Wise," and then she turns away.
Danica looks happy to see you as you make your way in. Rimpak, she says, "Oh, we were getting worried about you, Rimpak. I can see that your journey to find these new friends was eventful, to say the least. Everybody in town has noticed the windmill burning up on the precipice there, overlooking the forests. Thank you for bringing back Lilac in one piece. We've had her. We've had her for some time. She's a good girl."
She
served me very well, Danica. And Danica, witches in the windmill. Can you believe it? 3 of them. One of them escaped. The danger's not completely free from around here.
She says,
Organtha.
She says, you know what, Rimpak? I can believe it.
Well, and I met my friends. You led me in the right direction, and I'll go signal to the, Nuru, Nice Snow, and Veen.
She says, I'd say Esmeralda had more to do with that, but we were happy to lend you the horse nonetheless.
Well, thank you so much. You've done me a great service, and I owe you a great debt.
Erwin says, well, you all look like you're a little banged up and worse for wear. Is anyone hungry? I was just about to start dinner.
Naru's eyes, like his eyes lock on him in a way, in the intensity of only a cat can manage.
Just
dilate.
Fancy feast.
The ears rotate forward. The pupils dilate. The drool starts coming out of the mouth.
No drool.
The tongue curls up over the lips and goes over to the side of the back.
And you now notice, like, you can already kind of smell like the scent of meat cooking from the other room, and Erwin says, well, I hope you like wolf steak, but we also have a vegetable stew tonight. And he kind of makes his way back into the kitchen, and Danica says, and would anybody like some wine?
Yes, please.
So she goes.
Nuru frowns.
Put it in a beer stein for me.
Sure. So she turns. She gets a couple of wine glasses out, and she turns around, and you can see behind her. There are these openings in the wall, and you can actually see kind of 3 barrel tops sticking out of them. And she goes to one of the barrels, and she pulls on the little tap to start filling glasses, and like 2 little drops come out, and she turns and she says, "Oh, I guess we have to change that one." And then she moves down to the next one, and she does the same, and you see, like, again, just a couple little drops come out, and you see her kind of tense up and sigh, and she moves to the 3rd barrel, and when she does the 3rd barrel, wine flows into the glass, and she sets that one down, and she does a couple more for anyone who wants one, and she says, "I'll have to talk to Erwin about that. Get some new cakes tapped."
And Naru's going to say, our friend back in the corner there, could you provide a meal?
Provide him what?
Which friend is that?
He's pointing back. He's gesturing to where Veen's sitting. Probably, I think Veen was in the corner.
Yeah.
No, just standing near the door.
Yeah, there's 2 central. Danica says as she's pouring the wine, she says, "Well, you don't have to stand here all day. Please make yourselves comfortable."
What's the environment that we're eating at? Are we at a table, or are we just at separate little places that we're eating?
You can see there's empty bar stools all lining the bar top, and there are those 2 big central tables that are unoccupied as well. That each seat.
Because you showed it last week, do you want to chuck us on the map?
You can't. Can you not see? Oh, I didn't put you guys over there. Oh, my bad. That's
my
bad.
Well,
I've been on the Bluewater map this whole time.
when I enter, I'm gonna be very joyful, be able to enter, and I'm gonna come in with a bit of energy, and I'm gonna see Veen, I'm gonna see Nice. No, I want them to sit with me at a table. Like when I walk through the door, I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to like gesture everybody to come sit down. Let's have companionship. Because again, Rimpak losing his mercenary band, I missed that, and you guys have given me hope for salvation and a way to get out of this weird ass place. I have no idea where I am still.
Sorry, I think somebody's knocking on my goddamn door, so I'll be right back.
Yep.
By the way,
some cans real quick.
Something that we can do during this. Oh, actually, you need to go too. All right, yeah.
I'll be literally like 30 seconds. I mean,
Nice no switch with Nuru.
Nice Snow gets up and she walks slowly over to the other chair. I love that.
Husband, goddamn it.
No. Just look at how slow that was. Like, this is how fast she could have done.
Yeah.
But no, I had to do it like this.
Well, what happened to Veen? He went all black.
Yeah, I'm
you see Veen? Oh, okay, cool. Just making sure.
So yeah, I just want to know, can you guys see how slow this movement is? Like, do you see the slow movement, or do you just see the end result?
I see the end result. It just goes whoop.
Ah, it's a shame.
The spacebar thing.
No, I'm doing the alt and then pressing arrow over, and it's like moving her pixel by pixel over in a very slow fashion.
If you did alt across, let go, alt across, let go, it would. But that's a lot more effort.
Good evening, sir. Would you like to hear more about our Lord and Savior Tyr?
Well, I'm feeling that in order to get Tyr, involved with my new band, I gotta be a little more sly about it. Lead by example, sort of thing.
Well, that's what the door. Who was at the door, basically?
Tyr was at the door. What?
Yeah, Tyr was at the door.
The main god. Thank you.
Naru's gonna look to Veen and ask, "What did you do?"
I just point at my back and say tent.
Did you? Is there anything left over?
Left over?
Money.
No, I spent the money.
Oh, speaking of money, did you buy me the mace?
I have not gotten the chance.
Well, don't you worry about it. I have my quarterstaff, and I'll like kind of bang my quarterstaff, hoist my mug of wine, and I immediately see kind of my nature. When I see an awkward, like maybe an argument happening about money, I start drinking. It's from my childhood. Money. It's like, hey, draw attention over here.
And Nice Snow also remarks that, judging by Veen, it's probably good that I haven't gone shopping yet.
Rimpak, you do see your mace resting on the bar top of the Bluewater.
That's Niall's mace.
Okay, gotcha.
You spent all of that money on a tent. What?
And other stuff.
What else did you
get?
Nice Snow's just looking across the table, and the eyes are quickly darting back and forth between the two of them as they argue.
And I was like,
Veen's not arguing. He's just saying it like blunt. Like he'll answer the question. It's not an argument.
Wait. So what on earth would cost 150 gold?
I'm drinking my wine out of my tankard, and I slam it down and I go, 3 witches. Man, I am very glad I met you folks.
He's just gonna correct you. Hags.
Hags, witches. What they call them? Hags in your part of the world? Where are you from, Veen?
Yeah, hags. A person can be a witch. A hag is a hag.
We don't split hairs where I'm from.
They are Gehennian discards.
Nuru's just ignoring the other two, and he's going to... Veen, please, what did you get?
Stuff.
What kind of stuff did you get?
Stuff.
What does that mean? Oh my god.
As you're trying to convince your husband to tell you what he's irresponsibly purchased, one of the doors above the bar top creaks open, and you hear you can't see at first because it's kind of off into one corner, and you guys are all kind of all gathered around this table, and so you hear this very slow, methodical footsteps begin to come down the length of the wooden balcony above, and it's like it's a strange sound though, because it's like you hear like the heels of boots clicking, but then there's like a third clunk, and then you see appearing at the top of the stairs an older looking man, maybe in his middle to late 50s. He's got a very fancy looking leather dustered coat on that's lined down the sides with buttons, and it's kind of very it's more modern. It's more of a modern cut or design, like back from where you guys came from, back in Faerun. You see he's got this wispy white head of hair that's kind of slicked back behind his head, and there's or gray hair, and there's like streaks of white in it, and he's got this very big deep V hairline, and he's wearing a pair of very thick kind of tinted spectacles, and you see he's got a book under one arm, and you see the sound that he was making was from a cane that he's leaning on, and you see he's got these knee-high leather boots that have metal toes and heels, and they click very loudly as he comes slowly down the stairs, and the tip of his metal cane clicks on every step as well. He walks past between the tables, right past all of you, straight to the front of the bar, and Danica says, "Ah, Rictavio, out for your evening stroll, I guess. Just a moment." And she walks off back into the kitchen, and she comes back with a kind of a folded white folded napkin and 2 red apples, and she puts the white folded napkin down and the apples down in front of her, and she says, "I hope you have a wonderful evening." And the man picks up the folded white napkin and the 2 apples, and he clicks past you guys and goes out the front door of the inn.
Would I know Ricavio if I'm staying here at the inn for 2 weeks?
You would have seen him a couple times, but
Would I understand that he's blind?
Make an insight check. He may have briefly, introduced himself to you, and you don't think that he's blind. He just, it's more that he's old.
That makes sense.
It's you don't know why he wears the spectacles really, but he does heavily lean on that cane, but you did notice that this is a pretty typical routine of his. Early morning and evening after most of the shops close up, he comes down, he gets a wolf steak and 2 apples from Danica and leaves. And then he comes back sometime, later. A couple hours usually.
Okay.
Sometimes longer for a day or 2.
I'm really hoping this guy's like Zetoichi. Really hoping that'd be awesome.
He really looks like some lemony snickets on some unfortunate events. Like
he's he's very like steampunk. He's like very steampunk, Yeah.
I like that.
Nuru's gonna not really pay attention to him, and instead ask Veen once again, "What did you buy?"
Do I know you guys are married? Is this something that I would know? I don't know if I know that or not.
Yeah.
I do know that. And I'm just trying to get Nice No's attention. I'm trying to, because Nice No is very much more reserved than both Veen or Nuru. I'm trying to open Nice No up, just kind of like random banter type stuff while you guys are having your conversation. That's why you're sitting there. Not doing anything.
Well, try to pry into Hemdriel then. Be my guest.
let the dungeon exploration begin. Hope you brought your torch.
We can come back to the old married couple in a minute.
All right, I'm gonna say so. Nice No, where you're from. I'm after half a tankard of wine, I'm getting a little loose. I'm feeling good, feeling home, feeling hope. After fighting witches, surviving.
Let me ask a quick question, just for a little bit of my own clarification. I call Nice No Hemdriel now because it just was revealed that way to them as a character. How would you guys still be calling Nice No? Because you met Hemdriel as Nice No. Would you guys be now calling Nice No still? Would you be calling Nice No Hemdriel because Strahd did? Nobody really asked him about that. Or asked her about that, so I guess I've just been using Hemdriel, but it might still be everyone's calling Hemdriel Nice No, because it's never really been.
It's relevant to how the character introduces themselves.
Right.
Yeah, I've only met him as Nice No. So I met her as sorry.
Here's the thing: my characters never introduce themselves as their name.
So if everyone's still calling you Nice No, I should just still be calling you Nice No and not Hemdriel all the time.
Well, what is all right? Well, shoot. So we never introduced each other. In
fact, it was Nuru that said her name, not her.
Oh, so Nuru called you Nice No.
And at some point,
yeah, so
very long ago in the past, you did introduce yourself as Nice No. Before
because it was asked, but my characters never voluntarily said her name out.
So
okay.
I guess Nuru and Veen would probably be still calling you Nice No.
Yeah, it's mostly Nuru.
Yeah.
I mean,
at which point Rimpak would assume that their name is Nice No, so therefore.
Okay. So Nice No, where you from? Where you about? Me? I'm from Neverwinter, a little town outside Neverwinter. Actually, let me get into it. I've been from Vandalen. Have you heard of it? Well, it's a little frontier town south of Neverwinter. That's why I grew up.
Nice No, take an inspiration.
I know. Oh man, my composure.
That was the best. Just like stone cold. Oh.
I I need to recompose again. Okay, give me a second here.
That was my bad.
Rebecca talked to a brick
I
wall.
had, it was too good. That was so
I'm gonna
Okay.
crack you to this.
So
But
good.
it's just, I guess, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I gotta make a quick note. So Nice Note is female, Nuru is
Male.
male,
Yeah.
and Veen is
Male.
Yeah.
male. Okay, just all right, good. All right, so I'm gonna say Nice Note. I'm gonna say so anyway, so there I was. I'm gonna tell them basically my backstory. You guys have already heard my backstory, how I ended up here. But I reiterate it to Nice Note. Walk with my mercenary band. We're hunting wolves north of Neverwinter, and then all of a sudden the fog appeared, and the wolves we were hunting were like 2-3 times the size as we thought they were, as what they reported. My entire party dies. I barely survive, and I'm not where I thought I was. I find these great pieces, the Markovs, and I'm like, I'll tell them about the Markovs, like name their names, say, I've been staying here. They told me about it. So I'm like essentially telling the whole table again, reiterating my backstory, how I went and found them, and how I came back. And so I'm like, okay, so after all this is
you
done,
can do it. I mean, you can do it more fully if you want.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So there I was. I'm gonna go to the story of the mercenary hunt.
Yeah.
Growing up with Fandalin, I ended up falling with some mercenaries after I had to leave the abbey where I was being trained as a cleric. Why I left is for another day. That's a whole nother story.
So if you want to for later on, if you guys may ever make it out of here, if we would just want to establish a little lore that could come into play later. For a long time, the only temple in Phandalin was the temple of Timora, the Lady of Luck. So you could have established the second temple in Phandalin if that's something that you want for your character later on. You could have established a temple of Tyr in Phandalin.
Okay. Well, after I left Phandalin and went to the big city to Neverwinter.
Oh, okay.
And,
Gotcha.
yeah, that's where I ended up falling in with a mercenary band. We made good money hunting monsters. Your occasional and werewolves. Wolves. We ended up here. We found they're dire wolves. We were not supposed to be dire wolves. The strange fog led us astray, and I ended up after the brutal slaughter of everybody I've known for the past 5 years, including my best friends and a woman I fancied very much. I found myself here. I walked through the woods, found a trail, went south, found this place. Markovs took me in.
What was that woman's name?
The woman. Oh, my love who died.
Mm-hmm.
Kara, Kara.
And she was a part of the mercenary band that came through the fog and stuff?
She was.
Okay.
She was a paladin. We hit it off quite well.
What was she a paladin of?
Tyr.
Oh, Tyr. Cool.
Yeah. It's one of the things that we...
Just some useful information for me to exploit later.
Oh, that's good. Thank you for asking. So I'm giving Nice Note my whole sob story, just like blank while I'm assuming.
Yeah. She's just completely deadpan, just like looking at you. Like, if you want, you can try to see what her emotion is like, but
that's not really my concern.
Yeah. So yeah, she's just giving you deadpan, but you have her attention.
I came down here, and the Markovs, I walked in this town, and I was immediately approached by Danica. And she just simply said, "Come with me." And I came here, walked into the inn, and I stayed here for several weeks before I caught wind of you guys. I met this woman, a fortune teller, came in, and it caused a bit of a ruckus, and she gave me a card. She gave me the card of innocence, or an innocent card. I don't understand how it works. but I got an innocent card, or the innocence card.
She gave you a full reading, but she told you at the end the one that would matter most for you.
Okay.
A lot of the reading detailed more of like the rest of the adventurers coming in and stuff like that, and
so that I would recognize
one of your only possible solutions for ever getting out of here alive, essentially, and then it ended with the innocence card. Yeah.
Okay. The fortune teller told me the importance of you folks. I'm glad I found you. I didn't believe much in fortune until I met her, and she gave me the innocent card. I think it might be of importance later on for us together. I look across the table as Nuru and Nuru and Veen are still, arguing about money. Whatever married couples do.
Nice Snow is still just directly looking at you.
And then I'll take another swig of my wine tankard. I'll put it down and be like, and I go, 3, what'd you call them again? Hags? 3 hags. Man, you guys are great. I love you guys. I look around the table, and I look at the servants from Barovia. Not the servants. What exactly are they? Who hired them? Just quick as FYI for me.
Okay.
Ismark and Irina, they were like the head of the town.
The head of town of Barovia?
Yeah. Ismark was the burgomaster's son. Ismark and Irina were the burgomaster's son and daughter. So they were
okay.
I'm gonna ask of the mayor.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna ask. Nice No walked away. Well, he might still have his headphones on. Nice No still has his headphones on, of course. Nice No, I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna say, so hey, Nice No, where do these 2 folks come from? And I point at Ismark and Irina.
Another town, Barovia, south.
Okay. Where are you from, Nice No? You didn't. I forgot you didn't enunciate properly.
She looks at you like she just like had to endure a long talk, and she's just got that like, why am I here sort of look on her face. But then she goes, from what I can remember, Sosal.
I haven't heard of it. Do you believe in fate, Nice No? Good. So do I. I believe fate has brought us all together. And I'll try to get the Nuru and Veen's attention. I put my timer down, and I'll want to make motion to the barkeep. Who's keeping bar right now? Is it Danica? Or is it...
Yeah, Danica. Danica tends to keep bar. You know that Erwin is the cook, and usually Brom and Bray, the boys, help. But right now they're entertaining Myrtle, Niles, and Freak.
I go, oh, Danica, one more round for everybody.
Naru's gonna say, Naru's just going to turn around and say, no.
I also don't drink.
I'll drink theirs.
No.
Veen, what about you?
Nice Nose eyes narrow upon hearing the double drink.
Am I the only one drinking at this table?
If it's in front of Veen, he'll drink it, but he's not going to go out of his way to get it.
Well, Veen, Veen, you would know that a main staple in the culture in Barovia, living here your whole life, is everyone drinks wine. That's how people get through their day-to-day lives. It's like people don't drink water; people drink wine.
And then some people go over the top, like his mom.
So as this is going on, after you finally stop talking, she goes and you notice that despite there being utensils, she actually picks up the food with her hand and eats it directly into her mouth. her hands get all like nasty from like whatever food.
Well, yeah, like as you guys had been, as the two of you have been arguing and the two of you have been talking, at some point, Erwin had come out with a big saucer, essentially like a big communal plate, and around it were 4 bowls of vegetable stew, and in the center were like a rack of wolf ribs, essentially.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
I'm gonna be right back because I'm going to explode.
Nah, no worries.
No problem. But also while Nice Nose eating, you can tell just by her face that she's taking no joy from eating, despite that based on how far you guys travel, how hungry you are, she's taking no joy in eating.
Rimpak's liking Nice Nose even more. I like this. Like this unemotional reaction. Nice Nose has a thing. He's like, that's cool. All right, he's gonna be more interested now in Nice Nose, the fact that I'm eating, I'm enjoying it. I will notice Nice Nose is just eating as a mechanic, as like a mechanism, right? Like a robot. I'm like, cool. All right. Like I feel like you're deep, and I feel like converting the unconvertible is like reaching for that golden ring.
Well, make a wisdom check for me, Rimpak.
Sure. Where is... Oh, that's right, because wisdom is a thing. Click.
So your faith is pretty unwavering. And these last couple weeks for you have been probably pretty jarring. You've lost your friends, your love. You find yourself in this new place that shuns or doesn't even know about your god, and suddenly there was this spark of hope where you could go and find some new friends, and perhaps they would help you find a way out of this strange place. And you were able to help each other out in that battle, certainly, but you do remember some of the reactions that this woman, this ethereal almost woman, has had to your mentions of Tyr. That was all.
Again. Yeah. that makes her my she's my Moby Dick.
Mm-hmm.
You're what now?
I'm sorry, but that reference is actually hilarious because she literally is white.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Nice Nose my Moby Dick. You're gonna convert to Tyr. I'm gonna get it. Someday, somehow.
Oh man.
I'm gonna eat in the.
Also, Veen refuses to eat the wolf steak because that's nasty.
Wolf steak is delicious. I'm gonna push Veen's, hand Veen. What?
Is Veen a vegan?
I was a barbarian. Wolf steak.
That's the most interesting barbarian, the vegan barbarian. How the hell did you get the calories for those muscles? Jeez.
You need protein.
After this, I have to show you vegan bodybuilders because they're insane.
Plant protein.
So Rimpak is messing with Nuru or with Veen's stuff right now, right? With his food.
Well, I'm trying to get him to eat. I'm encouraging him to this is delicious.
Naru's going to take Rimpak's mug or his tankard of wine and dump it out. And
I stand up abruptly. As this happens, I will ask for my tankard back. I'll hold my hand out like, Nuru?
No.
Sir, please, may I have my tankard back?
No.
Why do you take it from me?
Have you seen yourself?
You haven't dumped it out yet. Okay. That would drastically change the mood in here.
Is this not a celebration? We survived a battle with hags. I grab my cowl, right where my symbol is, and I go, I covered myself to come.
Congratulations.
And I'm like, you lost souls. You will see someday. I'll have you all. I'll have you all. I'll point to everybody. You guys will understand sometime. You'll see.
As soon as he says lost souls, there's an audible drop in Nice Nose expression where it gets really dour.
And I'll reach out for my tankard and be like, Nuru, may I have it back, please?
Veen, what did you buy?
How are you holding his beer ransom for Veen's actions? Hold! No,
Veen, you tell her what you bought. I need my wine.
Well, when you say lost souls and some of the other people in the bar started kind of noticing all this going down.
Oh shit!
On this side, behind you, the two men sitting with the women. One of them pipes up and he says, "All souls are lost here, but yours most of all. Newcomers don't survive very long here. I will be glad to see you die."
Cool, thanks. Veen, what did you buy?
Nice Snow actually stands up, turns around and looks at them, and she actually looks at them and says, "Where's the light of Almater in you?"
I don't know if you've been looking around, but there's no light here, friend. You should open your eyes.
I'm gonna hold my hand up, and I'm gonna try to interject. I want to say real quick, we mean no trouble, folks. We're just having a few drinks. I look at Nice Snow. I'm like, these people been good to me.
Well, it's not any of the Marticas. It's these people back here.
No,
So.
I don't want to start a fight in their bar.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't want to wreck the place up because.
Yeah. You notice, well.
You notice it's not so much the insults thing; it's the threatening of "you won't last long here" that she's responding to.
No, I'll get it. You know. By the way, when I look at you, I'm like these people been good to us. You'll see that my quarterstaff's in my hand. I got your back, Nice. No, I'm just saying, hey.
And make a insight check on Nice Snow.
I will.
So, how sturdy are these tables?
Okay, so you notice that for all her composure, apparently she's bottling emotion that if she was to let loose would be catastrophic. And that's all you get.
I'm gonna play again hey, go about your meal, folks. We're just having a few drinks, maybe one too many. And I'll reach down. I'm like, hey, Nuru. And I reach for my tankard. Maybe hand it to me so we don't get in a bar fight.
I think that's a persuasion check. I don't know, just the ambient feeling is a persuasion.
So at this point, I assume the whole time Naru's still been asking.
Yeah.
All right, so I stand up. I slam my hand down very hard on the table. It's up to you whether it breaks or not. And I give a death stare at the people across the way who are talking shit, and I will use my background feat. Heart of Darkness, which should deter them from talking shit.
I will play into it and act extra scared as well, as it shocked me to maybe emphasize his movement.
Nuru, well, would Rimpak be distracted?
By the slam, absolutely it would.
Naru's going to try to sneak the mug or the tankard under the table where it's out of sight and act. So he lost it.
Stealing my booze, Nuru.
For these specific NPCs, Veen, because of who they are, I'm going to need an intimidation check to accompany that.
Okay. All right. So this will
on,
be
net 20.
It will have more additions than what this is because you said I can roll it off strength.
Yes, you can.
So it will be this plus 5.
You can change that in your settings as well.
Oh!
That was a 30.
You see the other brother, as Hemdriel stood up, was about to say something else, and you turn and glare at them. Your eyes narrow, and both of their heads snap to kind of look at you at the same time. And both of their eyes kind of look nervously towards the woman beside them, and then over at the Mardikovs. And one of them stands up and says, "Come on, Carl. We'll drink somewhere else for tonight." And they stand up, grab both of the ladies by the back of their arms, and they all walk out of the bar. As they push the girls out, the first one walks out. The second one turns around, and he very meekly says, "You'll regret this." And then he leaves as well.
So he just threatened me?
Yeah.
Wow.
Should we follow them? I look at Veen. And I hold my core staff up. I'm like,
I'm not going to follow him. I don't give a shit.
And the unique thing from Rimpak's perspective, if you're paying attention, is you now see two different kinds of intimidation. You see his intimidation of like pure darkness and like just rage or whatever is fueling him, and you see Nice Nose of actually like complete fervor.
I like that. I like
so you're like standing in the middle between like darker intimidation and brighter but burning intimidation.
So after they leave, this bald man with the big bushly beard, he and his
I see him.
He and his companion are also both mulling over some wine. He doesn't even turn his head, and he says, "You've just insulted Lady Vakter's sons."
Would I know who they are?
Who insulted anyone? I didn't say a word.
Would I know who they are?
You get the impression, Veen, that you can tell that these two men are much like you. They have survived much like you have, and they have also lived their entire lives in the woods of the Valley of Barovia. You get the impression that they could do that to you if they wanted, right? Like it's that kind of thing. Like they could also do Heart of Darkness on somebody.
The Barbarians.
Rimpak, you would know that. You would probably know that Fiona Vakter is a powerful woman in town. But you probably wouldn't know much more than that.
Oh. Yeah. I'll say after hearing that we're named Volkner, I go, Volkners? Danica, I lost my tankard. Would you be a dear and fill me another one, please?
Yeah.
Naru's gonna look back at her and shake his head with the expression of, "Please no."
I also sit back down, and where I slammed the table, there's 2 rings. Like as in bands, not as in like rings of damage.
Yeah, Nice Snow looks down at the rings and then looks at Nuru.
And
Naru's
Danica
gonna
brings
look
you
at nice though.
Danica brings you a smaller glass of wine, Rimkus.
I'll take it up, and I won't even
Literally a
notice.
thimble.
Essentially, I'm like, okay, whatever. Start drinking.
Naru's going to stealthily hand her the mug that he very much stole. And he's going to look down at the ring and then at Veen, back at the rings. And any frustration he had is just sort of melting away, and he just says, "Oh."
And then there's awkward silence.
And who are you paying attention to currently, Rimpak?
I'm drinking my new glass of wine.
It's just like a regular. It's just like a regular. You know, it's just like a regular wine glass. It's not like a ale tankard of wine.
Right.
You know, yeah.
It's a wine glass. I'm drinking my new glass of wine, and I'm feeling like we're all having a good time. We're getting along. Like I'm just kind of, just sitting back, relaxing, drinking my wine, feeling good about you guys, feeling good about myself, feeling good about my position. It's really because I'm guilty about covering myself with this cowl, So I'm trying to get my mind off it a little bit because I don't want to dwell on the fact that I kind of technically am denying the main god, and I don't like that. And I'm trying to also kind of harness my violent intentions against all this bar talk because I'm in my cups. And when somebody talks trash when you're in your cups, you tend to, throw fists. So I'm just trying to be extra jolly.
Yeah.
That's what my mood is.
What do the rings look like?
They are very fancy because they're not exactly cheap. They're gold with a diamond in it. Let's go with that. Classic look.
How expensive are these diamonds?
That's a rude question.
No, I'm just saying for
That's
size
so
perspective.
Sweet, Veen, you are such a sweetheart.
How much did she give you?
They're
Or
pretty,
sorry, he. Sorry.
He gave Veen 150 gold.
That'd be worth about 50 gold each, considering the
Okay. Good to know.
So Nuru is going to ask, which one is mine?
I assume you'd be able to tell because one would be bigger than the other.
Yeah.
You know what? You can mention that.
Well, cat paws are very large.
Yeah.
Suddenly, both rings disappear.
But yeah, they look identical.
Oh. Do we put them on each other, or...
He
Depends
just
on the
grabs one and
custom.
puts it on himself because we're already married, so we can't really do the ring thing.
That's very cute.
Nuru will put on his ring as well.
And then more awkward silence.
I like it.
And there's this awkward look on Nice Nose's face, like a mixture between a crooked smile on the one half and a worried brow.
And go ahead and take an inspiration, Veen, if you don't have one.
I already got it.
Okay, well, you can give it to your husband if they don't have one.
Maybe use
sure
it
we all
on
already
the wolf
got-
fight, didn't we? I thought somebody used one on the wolf fight. That's alright.
Nuru's going to... I'm sorry for...
Veen's just ignoring the apology.
adoring him.
So Danica comes over to the table and she hands Rimpak a key, and she hands Nuru a key, and she says, "Rimpak, your old room is still available. sure that you know the way. And when she hands you the key, Nuru, she says, "Then this one is for the common bunks, and both of them are essentially you go outside the inn, walk up the outside set of stairs, and there are a couple of rooms on the outside on the second level of the inn, and so."
I'll say thank you very much, Danica. I appreciate it.
And then she walks over to Ismark and Irina, and she hands Ismark the key as well. She says, "And your room will be between theirs." And so essentially all of your guys' rooms are all on the outside of the inn up on the second level.
Are they separated rooms, or are they 2 bedrooms, or
There's
what are
three total. So Rimpak, there's one room with 4 beds. Ismark and Irina's room have 2 beds, and then the key for Rimpak's room also has 2 beds. So Ismark and Irina and Rimpak's rooms are essentially identical, and then the other room has like 4 beds, a little kind of table with 4 chairs, and all the beds have like storage containers.
You can stay with me, nice now.
Yeah.
That's cool. I gotta give you 30 gold for my mace, so you know. Yeah, buy me a mace still.
And we'll take we started early, so we'll still play, or we started late, so we'll go the full session still, but we'll take our break a little, because we started at 8, so we're almost halfway, so we'll take
That's cool.
We'll take our break now, so we'll come back.
A break's a good idea. Yeah.
Yep.
Use the little cleric's room. Be right back.